Hello friends. So today we're going to be talking about annotating books. I don't know if it's a hot topic anymore, but it used to be a kind of a hot-ish topic before, where some people were all about annotating and other people just were not about it because people don't like doing anything to their books and like keeping it in pristine condition, which I totally understand, but that's not me if I own the book and I really enjoy it. But with that being said, I am going to be talking about annotating books, why I annotate books, as well as how I go about annotating books, and then you can also annotate a book with me today. Since I just recently read A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I read it primarily on my Kindle, so I didn't read it on my physical book, so you'll kind of see my thought process behind things that I highlighted and what I would do to annotate it and that sort of stuff. Anyways, I just pulled a couple books that I have read and loved, and as you can see, I love annotating my books. I truly do. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why I annotate books, but one of the main reasons why I annotate books is it helps me connect better with the text. So if I know that I'm going to like the book a lot, I like annotating it with things that I love, like the quotes. Also with series like The Hunger Games, The Sunrise on the Reaping, I also tabbed a lot of things that would be future information or like little Easter eggs that I noticed that are connected to the main Hunger Games series. So I do that a lot with series in a book. So then I can go back if I were to reread the series and just see how it all kind of interconnects with one another. And I feel like when you're invested enough to annotate a book, you're more locked in and you're more engaged with the text and you're just more, you're just more connected. You know what I mean? So I really enjoy doing that. Not to say that you're gonna be any less engaged in it if you're reading it without annotating. Everybody processes reading differently, and personally for me, this just helps me engage, lock in, connect, and just really fall in love with the book even more. I personally don't really write in my books. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but I just don't want to write in a book unless I know I love it. And I just haven't gotten to a point where I have reread a book that I've tabbed and want to underline books. Like I definitely have a couple here and there that I've underlined and made notes and stuff, but nothing too crazy. And I would definitely do that with books that I have read already and want to reread. If I ever do that, I'll definitely make an updated video, but as of now, I just mostly just tab it. I do have to say though, I don't know if this is about everybody, but the tabs that I do use are very important. I've bought a lot of tabs before, like a lot, and let me just tell you, not all tabs are equal in my opinion. I know these are very popular tabs that a lot of people get, like these ones that are full tabs. They come in a bunch of different color palettes. This was like the, I'm so sorry, this is a little crusty, but this comes in like a darker fall-ish one that I was planning on using for like dark academia type of books, and then there's like pastel ones and like bright colorful ones. So there's a bunch that are like this. But the problem that I have with these tabs is that it's not clear enough towards the middle end, so I actually don't like this at all because I have to like stick it out all the way at the end because it's not transparent enough, and it like creates these like really long tabs that I just don't like the look of. And then if that's the case, then I have to cut it, and sometimes when you cut it there's still some stickiness left in it because that's how long the sticky residue goes. This is a personal preference thing again, so this might not even bother you. So if that's the case, then these tabs might be the ones for you, especially if you have like an A5 planner or notebook or binder or whatever. It has those holes for that, and then it also has a ruler, so if you want to, you know, underline things with a straight edge, it's there. So that is an option if you guys don't mind that at all, but personally I don't like these. What I do like are these tabs. I love these tabs so much. I genuinely do wish there were more color schemes for this sort of tab, but it's okay. I will live. These colors are fine. They're like very basic colors, and the reason why I love these so much is because, oh my god, hello? Okay, these, I don't know if you can see it, but these have like a clear tab sticky residue thing. I don't think you can tell. Hold on. Let me put it on something. Okay, I'm gonna put on the cover of this. Okay, but if you guys can tell, it has like a clear-ish side to it. That's the sticky part, and then there's like the actual color tab for the annotation. So I really like that aspect of it because, for example, I tabbed this part, right? And it doesn't go over the text. It's transparent, and it tabs it. And it's beautiful. It's great. I love that about these tabs. I have bought these so many times at this point. It's kind of insane, but you just kind of have to find your own system and like what you like about annotating in order for you to better engage in the book and like do what you got to do with the annotating and that kind of stuff. So those are the supplies that I like to use. I do also have these like transparent sticky notes. They look white like this, but they're transparent. It's transparent, so the whole premise of this is to put this on a page and then you can write over it. I got those so I don't have to actually write in the page, and I might actually just do that. My only concern was that it was gonna transfer, and so far so good. Like, these haven't really transferred when I wrote in them, but I did let them dry out a bit before I did that when I did use them, but I just don't use them enough, you know? So definitely good to have if you want them, but definitely not a necessity at all. If you are gonna go full force into annotating, I would highly recommend getting good highlighters that don't bleed. I feel like the worst thing that could possibly happen in a situation like this is for it to bleed through on the other side when you don't want it to. So just make sure you get good highlighters that are bleed proof. I feel like the midliners are pretty good with that, and there's like a bunch of other highlighters that you can probably just check out the reviews for and see if they're good. I use the midliners, and then there's like a random pack of highlighters that I got on Amazon that don't bleed, so those work. And then also a good pen or pencil, you know, you just want to make sure you're at the all-time comfortability. Like, do what makes you feel good when you're writing in your books, when you're highlighting, when you're annotating, and all that good stuff. So those are like the basics of annotating, at least on my end. I think at the end of the day, it's not for everybody, so if you're just really not into that whole vibe, don't do it. It's really not that big of a deal. But I feel like when you are just so engaged in something that you're highlighting quotes that you love, moments that are just making your heart flutter so much, like you just are so invested in the book way more than if you're not doing that. That's just my opinion, but I feel like that's what it is. And honestly, you could do this digitally too. I feel like, I know Kindle and Kobo have features where you can highlight in different colors and put notes. I used to do that a lot when I would read on my iPad. So when I read on my iPad on the Kindle, I would do different colored highlights and then put in like the little notes and everything like that. But nowadays I don't really read on my iPad just because I get eye strain. Like, it used to be a pretty big problem. I felt like my vision was actually getting worse reading on my iPad. So that's why I switched over to my Kindle and my Books Go Color 7. And technically I could probably do it on my Books Go Color 7 since it is a color e-reader, but I just don't read enough on it at this moment in time, since most of the books that I read on my Kindles are in airplane jail, like airplane mode jail for my Kindle books, because I borrow them from Libby and they run out fast, and I just don't want to keep renewing it because I feel bad, because I know it costs the libraries money, but also too, sometimes a lot of people have them on hold, so like I physically cannot renew them. So there is that. So that's what's currently happening with my Kindle situation, so that's why I haven't done it. But once I do transition into full-time usage of my Books Go Color 7, I will probably do that way more. Like way more. Because it's fun. It's fun. At the end of the day, reading is all about having fun, and you gotta do what makes you have fun while you're reading. And this is what makes me have fun, and I'm sure it makes a lot of other people have fun, so the world is your oyster. Anyways, with that being said, I do have a book that I need to annotate. I'm not going to annotate the full book with you guys, but I will do a good amount of it so you can kind of see my thought process behind it, and you can kind of go from there, you know? So we're just going to go with that. Okay, so pink, I usually leave the pink tab for gushy moments. I'm probably not going to keep this key in here because I don't like how it looks like that, but pink, I usually leave for cute, gushy, like really sweet moments. I usually do like this blue color for like sad, hit you in the feels, like that sort of vibe. I'm sorry my handwriting is so atrocious. This is not great. And then I'm gonna do like green for funny moments. And then I'm gonna do red as moments that piss me off. So that's my key for this. And if I have any more, I'll add them like lower down here. But those are what I have so far because I know for a fact that these are the moments that are there. So the first one that I see, I don't know if you could see it on my phone, is on page 27. So page 27. Let's hope that it's there. So this is where it starts. Why are you so wet? And then it ends with and a sloth. So I normally do this when I'm actually reading. So I'll just tab it as I read it and like moments that make me laugh or sad or whatever. And so this moment is funny to me. So I put this at the edge because I don't really like too much of it hanging off at the end. So I'll have it as like little as possible. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Personal preference, and then go from there. If I have reread this book and I really do want to remember this, I might then underline it, but this is my first time reading it, so I don't want to underline anything. You know what I mean? I feel like me writing in books is reserved for the second or third pass of me rereading a book. So yeah, I'm going to show you another one. So page 43. So page 43, so it said where he says, where is it? Okay, it says, he pauses at one of the pale blue doors, something like relief seeping into his bold features. This is me. I say, you're kidding. This is like I would say like this is like a cute squealing moment, because it's like at this point in the book, Alice and Hayden are just like not really getting along. Not really. They're not enemies per se, but they're just like really not close. And just the fact that they were in the hotel room right next to each other, it was like a big, oh my God, of course, this is so cute. This is their like second mute cute at this point. Like, oh my God. So I'm gonna put like a big fat pink tab there, because of course. And then I'm gonna do one more with you guys. Page 53. Okay, so page 53, it's starting at, oh, I try to take almost nothing. So this is the part where it says, oh, I try to take almost nothing personally. I tell him I actually could probably afford to take a little more personally. The corner of his mouth twitch, and I had no idea whether it's a gesture towards a smile or a grimace. I take a half step back. Anyway, in case I don't see you again, it was nice meeting you, he says, parroting my words from last night with one brow hooking upward. I break into a grin, enjoy your stay. And as I walk away, his low thunder roll of a voice says, nice meeting you too, Alice. I was screaming, crying, throwing up at this point. When I tell you guys, like, this book was so freaking cute. It was cute. So it's gonna be a cute moment for me. Cute, gushing, like screaming, crying, squealing, throwing up. And so I'm going to put it right here in the corner. So that's basically how I do it. I'm going to just fast forward at this point the rest of it, so you don't have to sit there and hear me talk through every single moment of that. And then I'll return back to you guys after that. I've changed. It's been a little bit since I started filming this. It took a lot longer than I thought, to be quite honest with you guys, because one thing about annotating books after the fact, like reading it on a electronic device and then transferring it over, it's gonna take a little bit longer just because you have to like re-find the quotes, and that might take some time depending on how fast you find quotes. But we're done, and this is the final look of it all. I don't know if you could see. It's a good amount of tabs, I would have to say. Like, it's not too much, because I definitely have other books that are like insanely tabbed up, but this is a good amount, and as you can see, it's a lot of blue. I'm not gonna lie, it is a lot of blue. Just because this book really made me feel a lot of things. It really sucker punched me in the gut for a lot of different reasons, for both romance, but also the story of Margaret and like just going about that whole thing. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, that is my whole process with annotating a book. It's pretty straightforward. I highly recommend it if you don't mind putting in the effort. It's a lot easier, I would have to say, if you're reading it physically. So if you own the book, I would not recommend doing this with a library book because you do have to return that. But if you do own the book and you want to be a little bit more immersed into the experience, I would definitely recommend annotating the book if you want to get a little bit more immersed in that. And also too, it makes the future reading experience a lot more interesting, a lot more immersive as well, because then you can also add on to the annotating experience of that and just keep adding on to it. And if you were to share your books, then other people can see what you're annotating. I mean, depending on how personal you get with the annotating, maybe you don't want to share your books, but if you do, people can see your thoughts and the things that you reacted to, and it just builds like a whole community kind of aspect to it all. My cat is trying to jump up the window and she cannot do that. Highly recommend it if you guys are into it. If not, just read it however you want to read it, and there is that. But that is it. Let me know what your annotating process is. What are some tips and tricks that you guys have? Would love to hear it, and we can talk about more in the comments. And yeah, that's it. I will see you guys next time. Bye!